This movie was okay. Okay is the word I will use.
Yeah, I agree. It was an okay movie.
What's up, everybody? I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna, and welcome to our review of the 1934 movie Flirtation Walk. For those of you who don't know, this channel is dedicated to Rick and my bucket list of 101 goals and dreams that we hope to accomplish in our lifetime. And one of those goals is for us to watch all the movies that were nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards from 1927 until 2028. That is 101 years of Academy Awards Best Picture nominees and their respective winners. And right now we are doing the 7th year of the Academy Award.
1934.
1934.
Yes, sir.
So yes, we are slowly advancing on that path. We have watched until now 47 movies, and we discussed one lost movie, The Patriot.
Still lost.
We have already finished 7 years, so 6 years that we have finished, the first 6 years of the Academy Awards and 2019. We are currently doing the 7th Academy Award year, but it is our 8th
Year total.
So yeah, that is where we are. Now, for this review, the way this is gonna go is the first part is going to be a spoiler-free discussion where we are going to give our top-level appreciation and some commentary about the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie but are curious to hear like a short review, don't worry, you can watch that whole first part of it. And the second part of the review will be spoiler-filled, meaning that we will discuss certain plot elements and scenes more in detail. But don't worry if you don't want to get spoiled, we will warn you before we get to the spoiler part. And at the end of the video, we have our ranking.
Yes.
Our ranking section in which we will rank all the movies of 1934.
All the movies that were nominated
All
in
the
1934.
movies that were nominated for Best Picture in 1934, obviously. Yeah. The movies from this year that are on our list. But before all of that, we are going to do the trivia section. So I'm going to give you some information about the movie. Are you ready?
Yes, hit me with that information. Inform me. What is this movie? Have I even watched it?
You have watched it for sure. I was there. Flirtation Walk, 1934, first National Production Corporation film.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah, well, you never heard of it because it's actually the parent company at the time was Warner Brothers. And well, right now it's gone. It's just
doesn't
exist anymore, right?
Defunct.
Yeah. The movie came out on November 28, 1934. It was directed by Frank Borges, whom we've also heard of. He also directed... you want to guess?
Seventh Heaven?
Yes, correct. Not only though, he directed Seventh Heaven, Batgirl, and A Farewell to Arms. Of the movies that we've watched, he directed a lot more.
Yeah.
But of the movies that we've watched, he directed these 3. And it stars Dick Powell as Richard the Canary Palmer Grant Dorsey Jr.
That's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. And we've also seen this actor in another movie before.
Really?
We saw him in 42nd Street.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. He played
Billy.
Yes. You remembered? It also stars Ruby Keeler as Kid Fitz, whom we've also seen before.
She was the main one in 42nd Street.
Yeah,
what was the name?
Peggy.
Sawyer?
Yeah, Peggy Sawyer. Pat O'Brien as Scrapper Thornhill, whom we've also seen in The Front Page.
No,
he's
Who?
the main character.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, the journalist, Hildy Johnson.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my reaction when I looked this up, and I had a hard time remembering who was that in that movie.
But who does he play here?
Here he plays Scraper Thornhill, so he's the friend.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, me neither. Totally not. It also stars John Eldredge as Lieutenant Biddle and Henry O'Neill as General Fitz. So the movie overall was a success. It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. First of all, Best Picture, which is why we have watched it, and we are reviewing it right now. And it was also nominated for Best Sound Recording for Nathan Levinson.
Oh, okay.
Just a couple of interesting information about the movie. So the Hawaiian scenes were shot on the biggest set ever constructed at Warner Bros. Studios. And also many of the scenes that happen at West Point Military Academy were actually shot at West Point.
At West Point?
Yes.
Oh, they let them in?
I suppose. So yeah, that's about it for the information that I have about the movie. It's not much, just some basic information.
Yeah.
So I guess we could go into our spoiler-free conversation. So, Rick, tell me, what did you think of this movie?
This movie was okay. Okay is the word I will use.
Yeah, I agree. It was an okay movie.
Yeah. I don't know, there were points in the movie where I was kind of bored, and then there were points where I was into it, and it just kept going like that. And at some point, I just didn't care.
You thought, because for me, it actually started like on a high note.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that whole part, that whole like first maybe 1/4 of the movie, I was very much into it. I was so curious to see what will happen. And then when like the scene changes, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Without giving spoilers, it totally lost me. I totally lost interest. I was like, I don't care about this anymore.
Yeah, I'll split it like that. So that first third, let's call it first third.
Okay.
I was intrigued without any further like involvement. Just like, I wonder where this is going.
I thought that it had potential to like develop an interesting story.
Second, third, I didn't care. Mm-hmm. And that last part where it turns kind of into a musical, I was into it just because of the song.
Yeah, that last
funny.
part, it was entertaining, but again, story-wise, I didn't care anymore about the characters or about what happens to them. So it was overall, I think it was not, it was a bit of a letdown by the end. Especially because I was so interested in the beginning. I really liked how it started, and I wanted to see more of that. And then, I don't know, everything just went downhill from there.
I don't know that the beginning grabbed me that much, but I was open to it. But then most of the movie left me very indifferent, and then indifferent in the sense that I don't even have strong feelings of disliking. Yeah, exactly. That's why I said it's just okay rather than it's bad, because I didn't come out of it thinking, man, that was a bad movie, I wasted 2 hours of my life. I just came out thinking nothing, and then moving on to whatever I was doing.
So I guess that sums it up for what we thought of the movie as a whole, and the story. We talked about that. Like the story was just not as captivating.
Yeah, no, definitely
overall. What did you think of the performances though?
I thought, I don't know, they were okay. There were moments, a lot of moments where they were trying to be funny, and it never really clicked with me. And a lot of it has to do with the jokes that were written were not funny, but also the way that they were delivered by the actors was not funny either. So like on that sense, it didn't really get me. Yeah, there was never really any moment, even the strong emotional moments, where I was like, oh, I really believe what you're giving me right now, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And like, that's not to say that I didn't think that the actors were bad per se. They just didn't really deliver a story.
Yeah, they were flat.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we agree on that. As for the look and sound of the movie,
that Hawaiian scene, I gotta say, I had strong doubts that it was not filmed in Hawaii, but I think they still did a pretty good job, like making it seem like they were outside.
Yeah, I really liked what those Hawaiian shots look like. Yeah. I thought they were nice.
And then, of course, when it's filmed at the academy, it looks like an academy, so they did a good job on that part.
Yeah, it's. I didn't know before that they actually filmed in the real location. Mm-hmm. So it was. I think that it created like a nice look to the movie. Yeah.
And I think one thing, I said the performances were kind of flat. In terms of musical performances, I think they were good.
Oh, yeah.
And then that last third of the movie that I was talking about, where they do some like performances that are different. You see what I'm talking about exactly without spoiling it. I think they were good in that part too.
Okay,
both in performance-wise and sound-wise, because they were singing a lot here too.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Oh yeah, I kind of agree to that. So I think that's about it. There's really not much else to talk about. But
not much to say about this movie.
I'm gonna ask you, even though I kind of know what you're gonna say, and the people listening can probably guess, but would you recommend this movie?
Not really, and we started this conversation, you said the name of the movie, and I jokingly said, have I even watched this movie? That's kind of how I feel,
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like, don't waste your time.
Yeah, it's really forgettable. You really don't get much out of it. The best thing out of it are the songs, but I don't think that it's really worth watching the movie for.
The whole movie for that, yeah.
Yeah, for that part. So, yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it either. Okay, well, that was not that hard.
That was quick.
Yeah. So let's move on to our spoiler-filled discussion.
Spoiler.
start this section by giving you a short synopsis of the movie.
Remind me what this movie was.
Yeah, I will. I need that reminder to myself. So, a musical romance with Dick Powell as a private station in Hawaii who gets involved with Ruby Keeler, a general's engaged daughter. In order to avoid a scandal, the pair break up, but meet again years later when Powell's at West Point producing the annual play that turns out to star Keeler. You know, I didn't write this synopsis myself, obviously, like I just
Took it
as it was. They're using the actors' names rather than the characters' names. Because the synopsis is supposed to be the story of the movie.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
You know what jumped at me in this synopsis? And I guess maybe if you don't mind, we can start the conversation there. And that's something that I was thinking as I was watching the movie, which kind of threw me off from the beginning. Is here they say after the events of at the beginning, the couple break up.
Yeah.
They were never together.
Yeah, right. True.
They were never together, and I had a hard time believing like this huge romance that they were trying to sell me after meeting one night. They talked for a few hours, and then like it's the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
For most of the time, they don't even have normal conversation. It's just her giving him orders, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, man." And then they're in love,
Yeah, like it totally lacks development, like story development.
Yeah.
Both character-wise and story-wise, like their relationship. It's like you said, they're only together for a few hours on an evening, and then they meet again years later, and I'm supposed to
feel and they're like, "Oh, don't you remember how much we were in love back then?"
Yeah, like when? In those 3 hours?
Yeah.
Come on!
You barely talked, and I can't believe it. There's a lot of stories about like love at first sight or strong love that builds up very quickly, but usually there's a build up,
Yeah.
Either like they show the character seeing her for the first time, and then you can tell you just fell in love at that moment, and then they build up maybe over a few days, and then you get at least that kind of development. Here again, they barely talk.
Even like from the moment they meet, it's like so bland.
Yeah.
Like he just goes to her the place where she was staying, and he has to pick her up, and then she's in the car being all like snotty and whatever. Mm-hmm. Telling him, "Oh, go there, stop there, do this, do that." And it's like there's no intensity in there. I almost feel like they don't actually have chemistry.
There's no
They totally lack chemistry.
Like that scene after their evening, with the Hawaiians and driving around, and then they lay on the grass.
Yeah, like under that tree.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they start cuddling. I'm like, where does that come from?
Yeah, like it feels so out of nowhere. It's kind of unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
It just I didn't mention that in the trivia part because I thought in the end it's not really that important, but I think it fits with what we're talking about here. It's curious that because of the movie's success, then the production company decided to pair these two actors in other movies and with the director too. So they've made other movies like this.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if the other ones are better or if we're gonna see them, if any other of them is on our list. But I didn't see that. Like
that connection.
I didn't see the connection. I didn't see
the fact that their relationship was so underdeveloped brings a lot of the whole rest of the story down, because then I'm not only supposed to believe that they fell madly in love in that evening, which again, I can believe if you show it to me. They didn't show it to me. So I'm supposed to believe that. But then in order to help him, she turns him down. She's like, I was never really interested. It was just, the moonlight and everything. He is so angry for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
As if
until the very end.
His girlfriend of 10 years had just cheated on him, like he's so salty about it. I'm like, where does that come from? That like anger? Like you barely know the girl.
Right, yeah. I didn't you don't believe them, as characters, their feelings and their stories. Just
it's written that, he's angry, it's written that they're in love.
Exactly.
But I don't see it.
Kind of a disappointment overall.
I'll go watch.
But I was talking about in the first section, in the spoiler-free section, I was talking about that beginning, that party in Hawaii, and I was saying that it was interesting to me. Not because it didn't actually work in the end, but I feel like it had potential, I was like, I wished that the whole movie happened there. There would have been just like, I don't know, a movie about a summer romance in Hawaii, something like this,
Yeah.
That would have been the story. Like, why do you need to break it and then make them meet again years later when you didn't really develop that. Like if they had developed that part, just that part, like their encounter in Hawaii, into a whole movie, I think that would have been more interesting.
Probably.
Like I would have liked that, because I don't know, I like the setting, I like the premises, I like the atmosphere that they created, you know, with the location. I thought that it had potential there.
I think any of the 3 parts of the movie, if developed into their own movie, would have been more interesting.
Right.
Like do the whole thing in Hawaii, or do the whole thing in the academy about him trying to become an officer, or do
Right.
the whole thing about them trying to
make the musical.
to make a musical,
show,
you know?
yeah.
And I was talking about that earlier in the spoiler-free section. To me, the musical was the best moment.
Right.
And maybe it's because
You like
it is
musicals.
yeah, I love musicals, but it is also completely disconnected
Oh yes.
from the rest of the movie in a way.
That's true. That part is, it's like it's something else entirely.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the
Well,
rest of the movie.
it does in a sense that like
Yeah, but I
they
mean-
use their real life event
Yeah.
as a story for the musical. I don't know, like the way they act in the musical is different. The way the whole thing is drags on, not in a bad sense because I loved it, but it drags on for a while, making you think, wait, this movie just turned into a musical
Yeah.
inside of a movie.
But as I was watching that part, the musical part, I was thinking like, is this what the movie was supposed to be about? Because this is so long.
Yeah.
Like it goes on. Like they almost show you a whole musical act, you know? And I was thinking like, this is not about what was happening before anymore. Like now I'm watching a completely different thing.
Yeah, well, they're making links, you know, because the story in the musical kind of mirrors their stories, you know, with her being half engaged and. But yeah, you can definitely tell or feel like it's disconnected from the rest of the movie. But
Yeah.
again, that's where they were at their best. The songs were great, and even when they were not singing, they were just acting inside the musical. I
Yeah.
thought they were better than when they were acting in the real scenes, you know.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I agree. Well, yeah. I mean, we've said it already, but we're gonna say it again. I do not recommend this movie.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think it comes together well as a movie.
It's kind of a meh.
Is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think so too. So then we can move on to the ranking.
That's gonna be
section.
hard.
Oh my god.
Where could it go?
So the ranking for 1934 as of now is at number 2 we have Cleopatra, and at number 1 The Barretts of Wimpole Street. Where are we going to place Flirtation Walk?
I would say somewhere between number 3
Yeah, between number 3 and
and
then
the
4,
last place.
and then maybe 5.
I will see. We haven't seen the other movies. We can't
Yeah,
say
that's
that.
true. That's true.
But for now, I think it's last
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think we even have to
Debate.
or explain much why
Mm-hmm.
Cleopatra was so much better as a movie,
Yeah.
as an entertaining, had so many entertaining elements,
Mm-hmm.
while this one felt just disconnected all over the place.
And then, like, can I really turn down my man Charles and the Barrett of Wimpole Street against
No.
this movie?
Oh, no way.
No.
As of now, the ranking of 1934 is at number 3, Flirtation Walk, number 2, Cleopatra, and number 1, The Barretts of Wimpole Street.
There you go.
There you have
Job
it.
well done.
3 movies ranked so far in 1934, and so many more to go before this year is over.
Yeah, they nominated a lot of
Oh
movies.
yeah, I think for a few years now it's like 10 movies per year.
Yeah, I think this one
At
is
least.
12. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, wow. So yeah, we still have a long way to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm excited. I want to see what this year has to deliver. So yeah, that being said, that was it for our review of Flirtation Walk. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to be notified for our future videos, don't forget to ring the notification bell below so you don't miss when we drop a new video. Don't forget that this channel is not just about reviewing movies, it's a bucket list channel where we do a lot of different things. We do like traveling, cooking, self-development, learning things, a lot of different activities that we have on our list, and we are making videos about all of them, so make sure not to miss any of those. Also, like this video if you liked it, and tell us in the comment section below if you've watched this movie, did you like it? We didn't really, but you know, if you like it, I'm curious to hear everyone's opinions, what you thought of this movie, and have a nice day.